the NBA has decided as a whole going into next season to allow a small sponsorship position on the jersey. Justin, I'll go to you first. What are your initial thoughts about this?
Uh, you know what? I don't like it. I thought it was inevitable, though. My biggest thing with the sponsorship is we just signed, or the NBA just signed this huge TV deal. Revenue is higher than ever, and the league just keeps growing and growing. So this extra sponsorship money is also going to be flooding in. I'm sure that's going to have an impact on the cap, maybe another jump. But what do they have? What do they have kind of earmarked for that extra revenue? Is there something the league needed to do in the next couple of years that they needed to accelerate the process of the growth and get even more revenue? Is it just greed? Is it expansion? I would just like to hear a bit of an explanation, because I figured the advertising is inevitable. I'm not a fan of it. Hopefully it won't be mandatory on jerseys purchased by fans. But I'd just like to hear what the strategy is, because we know they're not going to be lowering the price of tickets, and we know they're not going to be lowering the price of League Pass. So it's not to enhance the fan experience. I want to know what it's for.
Phil, I mean, we see sports like soccer where you're just inundated, or NASCAR, where you're just completely inundated with sponsorships everywhere. Do you think this is the right way to go?
Look, for someone who doesn't even have cable TV because I can't handle commercials, this pisses me off beyond measure. I think A, it cheapens the game. I think B, it makes them look tacky and ugly jerseys. I know in other sports like the CFL that Justin pointed to me off camera, they've started putting a little bit. To me, it's an eyesore. I notice it right away. And again, why do this? Like, I get it. They're trying to make more money off sponsorships, but you have all this money coming in. Why are you doing this? Now, just to answer your question, I was reading an article saying how the fan versions won't have it just yet. But I don't know if that's going to happen long term, because long term, our fans not going to want the same jerseys that the players are wearing, right? Like, so it kind of seems weird.
It's like that with the CFL jersey. Like, I remember I paid extra for the little advertising patch for my Bombers jersey for Investors Group just because I wanted it to match what's on the field, and it just didn't look right without it.
Yeah, exactly. It super bothers me. I think it really cheapens the game. I mean, you can call it greed, call it not. I think this is something you could have added later on, considering you're making all your money off your TV deals. If it's coming for something else, sure. But I just think as a fan, I'm already flooded with enough nonsense that I just want to enjoy a sport, that this is just going to be something else. And you know it's not going to end there. You know it's going to tag along to other types of sponsorships in live games. So I'm not a happy camper with this one.
Justin, one angle that's coming up already is that apparently the Charlotte Hornets are going to have the Jordan Brand logo. What do you think of that?
I mean, I'm fine with it. If my team that I root for needs to put a logo on there, I'm hoping that it's like Nike or something that'll just like blend in. The Jordan Brand, like, that would be fine. I just don't. It's funny because really NBA is unique because it's the brand. Like, the team is the brand. Like, your team, if you're a LA Lakers fan, they could trade all 15 of their players for the 15 players on the Boston Celtics, even though you hate the Celtics. And all of a sudden you love those players because they're wearing that brand, that logo. You're making a conscious decision to root for that team. If they put on McDonald's, maybe I like Burger King. Like, I want to support my team, but it's annoying that the brand that I'm choosing to root for comes with a package deal for some other brand that I don't have really an interest in representing. It's not a huge deal. It's not going to impact whether or not I watch the games or whether or not, or how passionate I am for the team. I agree with Phil. I think it cheapens the product a little bit.
And what if you're vegan and they put on a Burger King logo? How does that affect your fan? There are questions we need answered here.
Yeah, and going forward with that, Phil, I mean, remember the '92 Olympics where a bunch of guys on Team USA wore the flag over their warm-up jerseys because they wanted to hide the Reebok logo. What if something like this comes up with a guy who plays for Nike and they have to wear Adidas, something like that?
Yeah, well, we've seen this before with players blocking out logos. I mean that's going to come into the collective bargaining agreement for sure on some level if it hasn't. But I mean, they're going to have to show it, or else it's going to be a breach of contract. Like, I bet you this is part of all contracts going forward if they're going to maintain this. I just think there's going to be a bit of a sticking point. I think they'll try to keep the logo small for a bit, but at the same point, I don't know. I think it's a really tough sell. It's for the average fan. I mean, people may not notice, especially if you're a fan of, like, NASCAR, football, and all the rest. But really, it kills me.
Okay, Justin, I think you just dropped off, but you're back. I'm going to
Yeah.
throw one last question to you. I want to think of an outside-the-box type of sponsor that would look great, or just would be a great concept for an NBA jersey.
Are we putting Rogan on the Cavs jerseys? Geez, what would be a great one? Like, I just think there's so many, like, you could do it really team specific, and I think that would be funny. Like, you could have the OVO for the Raptors, obviously, with their Drake connection there. Maybe the Cavs, seeing as they all seem to be signed with Clutch Sports, you could put the Clutch Sports logo on there, seeing as they seem to all be Rich Paul clients. I don't know. That's a tough question because like I don't put a lot of thought into those kind of brands and which ones would be in a position to put the type of money forward to put a logo on a jersey. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what type of companies end up deciding to go this route. Is it going to be fast food chains? Is it going to be primarily sporting goods stores? I think a good one would be in Minnesota for the Mayo Clinic. They already have that for the Minnesota Lynx, and I think that's kind of a logical way to go. And the color scheme actually matches the jersey, so that would be fun.
I was thinking Metamucil for the Spurs. So, anyways, that's sponsorship.
One a day men's.
Well, I was actually thinking it'd be really funny if the NFL, making so much money, started sponsoring on NBA jerseys.
Yeah.
Right? Like you actually saw.
Like Mike Sport.
Technically, it's a different company. Technically, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, that'd be more of an NHL thing.